The slave master and the slave got the same God. How that's gonna work? Just think. Both of them praying to their God for what? One praying to get free from the slave master, the other one praying to stay in his position. How they both praying to the same God and think they're gonna get the same results? That God, the God that they praying to, is creating a war, a civil war. It has to be a civil war. We can't both want the same thing to that same God.
Do you believe in God?
So this belief comes from the Bible itself, specifically Deuteronomy 28. In this chapter, Moses is giving the Israelites laws and tells them that they will be blessed by God if they follow the laws, and they'll be cursed by God if they don't follow the laws. I'm going to show y'all a couple of verses in this chapter that give Black Christians this idea that slavery was a curse for our ancestors' disobedience. The Lord will send on you curses, confusion, and rebuke in everything you put your hand to until you are destroyed and come to sudden ruin because of the evil you have done in forsaking him. The Lord will cause you to be defeated before your enemies. You will come at them from one direction but flee from them in seven, and you will become a thing of horror to all the kingdoms on earth. You will be unsuccessful in everything that you do. Day after day you will be oppressed and robbed, with no one to rescue you. Your sons and daughters will be given to another nation, and you will wear out your eyes watching them day after day, powerless to lift a hand. A people that you do not know will eat what your land and labor produce, and you will have nothing but cruel oppression all your days. The Lord will drive you and the king you set over you to a nation unknown to you and your ancestors. You will have sons and daughters, but you will not keep them, because they will go into captivity. The foreigners who reside among you will rise above you higher and higher, but you will sink lower and lower. So Black Christians read that and came to the conclusion that slavery was a curse sent by God himself for our ancestors' disobedience. None of these Black Christians can tell you exactly what our ancestors collectively did as a whole that was so awful and disobedient that God put us into slavery for centuries. And somehow, those same Black Christians are apparently praising the same God who cursed their ancestors. They ate our ancestors, mind you. Beat them, lynched them, skinned them, and turned their skin into belts and purses. Raped to an unimaginable degree. And I am not just talking about the women. You need to look up what buck breaking is. I read about a slave owner who used to shit in his slaves' mouths. And these Black Christians fully believe that our ancestors deserved all of that because of some sort of disobedience. Do you see what I mean when I call Christianity a cult? Because what are you talking about? We deserved it because we were disobedient. If this God believes that our ancestors deserved everything that they got, why is anyone Black praising this God? I mean, I know that Black Christians have demonized their ancestors, like they call their ancestors demons and all of that, but I had no idea that Black Christians hated their ancestors that much. Enough to say with their full chest that their great-great-great-great-great-great-grandmother deserved to be whipped 87 times because she tripped while trying to bring Massa his food. I mean, y'all are so brainwashed, you might as well go back to reading the slave Bible. You know, the same slave Bible that was for missionaries to bring to slaves to teach them how to read and to teach them about God at the same time. The same slave Bible that omitted stories like the Exodus from Egypt in Exodus 7 through 12, so it wouldn't encourage the slaves to want to escape or rebel. The same slave Bible that taught the slaves to treat their slave masters as they would treat God, as stated in Ephesians 6 and 5. This slave Bible that you can find on Amazon, they taught their slaves that they deserved what they were getting, and the slaves passed that down to their descendants. And y'all are still falling for the okie doke even today. The slave masters would be very proud of the Black Christians today.
These images are not accurate, but it's okay, because these tribes are. All these tribes are in the area of what used to be the colony of Virginia. Like, it used to stretch from Maine into the Carolinas until they became different states. But when I tell you, this is our region, that's why you see so many tribes concentrated here. And these are where your ancestors, most of them, come from. This is us. This was my great-granddaddy's.
Just a reminder that this wouldn't be happening if everybody wasn't so nonchalant about Black people being killed by law enforcement all the time. You let it be okay because, oh, they must have done... Yeah, exactly. Turning a blind eye to it until it escalates to where it's at now. And that's not an exaggeration. And yes, I'm making it about that because they're fucking connected. So maybe if you weren't so fucking anti-Black for so long and you actually pointed out that it was wrong before, wouldn't be in this position where that shit's happening so nonchalantly now. But people are anti-black as fuck, so that's what it is. And here we are. Now what? This is 100% true, by the way. Nothing I'm saying is exaggeration. You need to fucking hear it. Be okay with that shit. If you weren't so anti-black, when black people who have been getting shot by law enforcement, if that's what you want to call it, for all this time, wouldn't be having so much shock and all now because it wouldn't have got this far. But because you allowed that and you believed that law enforcement has the right, all that bootlicking bullshit you believed about black people getting shot in the streets, probably wouldn't be in this position in the first fucking place. But here the fuck we are. Congratulations, America. Your anti-blackness is getting you exactly what the fuck it costs.
My problem is I get around people and start making them believer in themselves. People get around me and try and make me feel smaller. First of all, I'm physically super tall already. I'm spiritually just abundant. So that's not gonna work. But I'm gonna always try and elevate the people around me because that's just who I am. And to be honest, it could be a flaw at times because everybody don't want to be elevated. Some people just want to be living in a negative frequency, knowingly living in that frequency. We can't pull everybody up. And when I realize that, I start to move a little bit different. But a lot of you guys are still trying to save people that just not going to be saved. So make sure you guys take this as a note. Jot it down if you have to. Because our frequency that we work so hard to be in can be ruined overnight just like that, just because we're trying to pull people up that's meant to be low and want to be low. Let's be quite frank. But as usual, if you agree, make sure you like, share, and repost. And if you don't, leave a comment. Let me know why.
We are the original people of this land. We have been reclassified, but we was already living here when the Spanish, when the French, when the British came here. We've been here for thousands and thousands of years, not only in America, but in Canada, in Mexico, Central America, the Caribbeans. These people took over our lands, not only in America, but Papua New Guinea, Africa, Australia, the Pacific Islands, are the original home of people that look like us.
It's crazy that y'all live in luxurious on stolen land. It's crazy that y'all giving the $5 Indians our reparation. It's crazy that y'all over here poisoning our food, poisoning our kids, poisoning our... Y'all think y'all gonna be that busufa pantuara? My ancestors ain't playing with y'all. Y'all think it's a game? Y'all think this a game? Y'all think our ancestors' blood that's been shed, the tears that's been shed, it's not gonna affect you? It's not gonna affect your bloodline? Keep playing. Keep playing. Keep being delusional. Keep sitting around thinking that nothing's gonna harm you. Keep being denied. Keep get my ancestors is gonna have a field day with y'all. Ashe.
You gotta identify them as what they are. These people right here are Pareganas. These people are the Pilgrims. These people are the Europeans. They are the pale skins. The original immigrants are these people. Think about that. Why would you call these people an American and they not from America? They came here on boats. The original slave story is actually these people being shipped over here, and they were called Slavs. Their whole imagination story in your head, where you thinking that these people actually is on the same plane as we are. Nah, who told them they was Americans? Put your critical thinking hats on. How did they go from pilgrims, Slavs, in bondage, to coming over here, and they American? These are the first immigrants over here. I told you to put your seatbelt on. I told you to buckle up. So the original slave boats was them. rethink everything about the stories that they done told us. Fam, they done capped us down literally with everything. They come over here and they like, well, we're Americans. You ain't American. That's like me getting on the boat and sailing over there to China and I say I'm Chinese. How would that work? Get your goof ass out of here. You not Chinese. You American. They've twisted, turned, bent the narrative, so they got us over here thinking like they on the same type time and citizenship that we is. Nah. This is why you never call them white people. You got to get that out of your head because lawfully, white is a status that's the highest status on the land. So when you falsely call these people a white person, this is why they never rejected because they have been brainwashed too. They really think they are white people. But see, our people keep the spell going because we not knowing that if you do call them that, you keeping the spell going. You keeping the game going. You understand? See why you gotta let that go.
Did George Washington allow a little slave boy to freeze to death while holding his horses during that famous Delaware River crossing? If not, then how do you explain the origin of the line jockey? This is the legend of Jocko Graves, the faithful groomsman. Let me tell you about it. I'm the young black mayor, your #1 history influencer. During the Revolutionary War, late December 1776, it is said that General George Washington allowed a 12-year-old slave boy and his father, Tom Graves, to serve along with about 60 other black men. When it came to that famous crossing of the Delaware River, Washington decided it was too dangerous for Jocko to cross. General Washington instructed Jocko to wait with the horses and keep a lantern lit. That way the army would have a guiding light when they attempted to return back across the Delaware. When General Washington and the army returned back across the river, little Jocko had froze to death with the lantern still in hand. General Washington must have felt bad because he commissioned an iron statue to be made to honor Jocko and be placed at his Mount Vernon estate. He named the statue the Faithful Groomsman, which in that time frame was a man or a boy left in charge of stabling, feeding, and grooming horses. Over time, the statue would evolve to racist versions, eventually making it to the current day line jockey. The worst versions were Sambo-like black figures with protruding lips. They were often used for hitching horses. It evolved to this current version of a white horse jockey holding his arm out with a lantern. But why would a racing jockey be holding a lantern? Some say they were positive symbols when they were used on the Underground Railroad. Some say Stagecoach Mary hated them and that she would knock them over when she saw them along her mail routes. Either way, the racist imagery in the evolution of the line jockey is evident. Should we praise George Washington for honoring Jocko Graves, the faithful groomsman, or should we hate every version of the line jockey that we see? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'm the young black mayor, and I'll tell you more next time. Truly your #1 history influencer.
You gonna want to share this one out to everybody you know. Look up there, what it say? The ancient Egyptian god Anubis is from the Americas because you can clearly see that Anubis is patterned after the Zolot, which is a native dog, indigenous dog to the Americas. Yeah, that's the Mexican hairless dog, otherwise known as the Zolo dog. Crack! Once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Take your medicine, man.
So this dog, the Egyptians used for Anubis, that's further evidence that Upper Egypt and Lower Egypt is in the Americas.
He hot. He hot as fish grease.
Why are we even building on this right here? Because our people got an identity crisis. The connection is through nature. Why would the Egyptians use an animal that's indigenous to the Americas if they was from over the other side over there in Africa?
Wait a minute.
Just think about that. Why would they be using an animal that ain't from their land?
That wasn't no ball. Listen. Let him cook. I'm gonna let him.
They gonna use an animal that's indigenous to the land they come from. That's the Americas. This is further evidence and receipts to let y'all see in real time that Anubis was patterned after the dog, the Zolo, the Mexican hairless dog. Bing bong.
I want the motherfuckers to know every day. Every day. Oh, he never stopped working, man. Always a talker and always backed it up.
However you want it, Lord.